Unlock the door to mystery with one very short story. The micro-podcast filled with morally complex characters, twists you won't predict, and endings you won't forget. Every episode is a brief, intense journey, perfect for listeners who crave mystery, intrigue, and stories that leave you thinking long after the tale ends. Today's episode begins now. The Unwitting Teacher. The air in the cramped, windowless basement room hung thick and stale, smelling of damp concrete, old gun oil, and something metallic. Maybe fear, maybe just the lingering scent of past lessons. A single bare bulb dangling from a frayed cord cast long, dancing shadows that seemed to wiggle on the rough brick walls. Vincent, the viper, Moran, stood like a statue carved from granite, his eyes chips of flint reflecting the weak light. Before him, Leo shifted his weight, the worn leather of his jacket creaking softly. His fingers, long and surprisingly delicate, fumbled with the sleek black pistol Vincent had just placed in his palm. The cold metal felt alien and heavy. "Your finger." Vincent's voice was a low rasp, like sandpaper on wood, cutting through the silence. Alongside the trigger guard. Only alongside. Until you're ready to end something. He reached out, his own hand, scarred, knuckles thick, adjusting Leo's grip with impersonal precision. The touch was brief, but Leo flinched as if burned. "And for God's sake," Vincent added, a flicker of profound irritation crossing his weathered face, "stop the fidgeting." "Sorry, Mr. Moran," Leo mumbled, his voice cracking like a teenager's. He ducked his head, a nervous flush creeping up his neck. The shadows seemed to swallow him slightly, making him appear smaller, younger. "It's just learning from the best. It's overwhelming." He swallowed audibly, the sound loud in the confined space. Vincent grunted, a sound devoid of warmth. He'd trained apprentices before. Some had become passable, others had ended up dead or in prison. But Leo was in a category of hopeless all his own. Yet the wire transfer from the anonymous benefactor who'd arranged this partnership had been substantial. Enough to make suffering through Leo's chronic incompetence almost worthwhile. Almost. Weeks bled into each other in a blur of dimly lit warehouses, fog-shrouded alleyways, and the constant, oppressive weight of Vincent's disapproval. He taught Leo the grim calculus of their trade, the art of melting into a crowd, becoming just another face in the shifting tapestry of a busy street. The precise chemistry of poison, how a few drops could erase a life without leaving a trace. The delicate balance of making a plummet from a height or a faulty brake line look like cruel chance. Through it all, Leo remained a masterpiece of ineptitude. During stakeouts, huddled in the cramped back of a nondescript van smelling of stale coffee and vinyl, Leo would inevitably knock over a thermos, sneeze violently at the worst possible moment, or get his foot tangled in the surveillance cables. His whispered apologies were breathy and frantic. Throwing practice in another echoing warehouse became a spectacle of near misses and embedded blades. One particularly wild throw sent a knife quivering violently in the wooden ceiling rafters, dust sifting down like dirty snow. Vincent would rub the bridge of his nose, the muscles in his jaw working, a silent testament to his fraying patience. One rain-lashed evening, they sat at a scarred wooden table in a cavernous, drafty warehouse. The only light came from a single green-shaded lamp, casting a sickly glow on the array of disassembled weapons spread between them. The smell of solvent and gun oil was sharp, almost acrid. Vincent meticulously cleaned a silenced pistol, his movements economical, precise. "Detachment," he stated, not looking up. His voice was flat, cold as the steel in his hands. "That's the key. You can't hesitate. Not for a second. You can't afford regret. The target, it's not a person. It's an obstacle. An object that needs removing. Like taking out the trash." He paused, running a patch through the barrel. Cleaning his gun. The sound was a soft, repetitive shush. "Understand?" Vincent said. Leo nodded vigorously, his mop of dark hair falling across his forehead. He was meticulously wiping down a revolver, his movements surprisingly deft for once. "Yes, Mr. Moran. Detachment. Object." He reached for a bottle of gun oil standing too close to the table's edge. His elbow bumped it. Time seemed to slow. The bottle tipped, gleaming liquid spilling across the scarred wood towards a stack of oily rags. But then, something shifted. The nervous energy vanished. Leo's hands, suddenly steady and sure, snatched the rags with practiced speed, mopping up the spill before it could spread more than an inch. His movements were economical, efficient, utterly controlled. He wiped the last smear away, then carefully righted the bottle, placing it safely in the center of the table. He looked up, meeting Vincent's gaze. For the briefest instant, the nervous apprentice mask slipped, revealing something watchful, calculating, beneath. Then it was gone, replaced by the familiar wide-eyed apology. "Sorry. Clumsy me." Vincent stared, a cold prickle tracing its way down his spine. Interesting. The weeks that followed saw Leo's apparent incompetence reach almost farcical levels. He accidentally discharged a pistol during target practice, the deafening roar in the enclosed range making Vincent's ears ring for hours. He missed stationary targets from absurdly close range, bullets pinging harmlessly off the backstop. He forgot basic protocols Vincent had drilled into him countless times, checking corners before entering a room, maintaining situational awareness. Vincent's frustration curdled into a simmering suspicion. The breaking point came during a simple surveillance job on a rainy Tuesday night. They were perched across the street from a dimly lit cafe, rain drumming a relentless rhythm on the car roof. Inside, their target, a mid-level money launderer, sat sipping espresso. Leo, fumbling with the binoculars, somehow managed to knock against the horn. A loud, blaring honk shattered the night. The target's head snapped up, eyes scanning the street with sudden, sharp alertness. Vincent cursed under his breath, throwing the car into gear and peeling away from the curb with a squeal of tires, leaving the alerted target far behind. Back in the safety of a shadowed alley, rain plastering Vincent's salt and pepper hair to his skull, he whirled on Leo. Water dripped from his chin. "You idiot!" he hissed, his voice low and dangerous, cutting through the drumming rain. "That wasn't just clumsy. That was deliberate. Who sent you? Who's paying you?" The transformation was instantaneous, startling. The nervous slump vanished. Leo straightened to his full height, the rain running down his face like tears he wasn't shedding. His eyes, wide and uncertain moments before, hardened into chips of obsidian. The air crackled with sudden, palpable tension. The rain seemed to fall harder, plastering Leo's dark hair to his forehead, revealing a face that was suddenly older, colder. "The same person," Leo said, his voice calm, steady, utterly devoid of its earlier tremor. "Who paid you a substantial sum to train me." A small, humorless smile touched his lips. He calculated correctly. You wouldn't guard yourself against a bumbling fool. Vincent's right hand instinctively dropped towards the small of his back, where his own pistol rested in a concealed holster. But Leo was faster. With a fluidity that belied his earlier awkwardness, his hand slipped inside his jacket and emerged holding the sleek black pistol Vincent had first given him weeks ago. The barrel, dark and purposeful, rose unwaveringly to point at Vincent's chest. The rain gleamed on the metal. "Surprised?" Leo asked, tilting his head slightly. The smile didn't reach his eyes. "I wasn't lying when I said I wanted to learn from the best, Vincent. I merely omitted the nature of my final examination." His finger rested alongside the trigger guard, exactly as Vincent had taught him. Vincent slowly raised his hands, palms open, away from his body. The rain soaked through his shirt, cold against his skin. So this was all an act? His voice was rough but controlled. He could feel the cold metal of his own gun pressing against his back, useless now. "Every stumble," Leo confirmed, taking a small step closer, the rain splashing around his worn boots. "Every fumbled shot, every forgotten protocol, carefully choreographed to make you underestimate me, to make you see only the fool, not the threat." He gestured slightly with the gun. "You taught me well, Vincent. Patience, observation, the critical importance of striking when the target believes themselves safest." The irony was a bitter taste in Vincent's mouth. He'd meticulously trained his own executioner, polishing the skills that would now be turned against him. A strange, unwelcome flicker of pride warred with the cold realization of his own mortality. "You're not the first sent to kill me," Vincent said, his eyes locked on Leo's, searching for any flicker of hesitation. He saw none, only cold resolve. "You won't be the last." "Perhaps," Leo acknowledged softly. The rain streamed down his face. "But I'm the only one you personally taught." His finger slid smoothly from the guard onto the trigger. The movement was economical, precise, perfect, just as Vincent had taught him. The alley fell silent except for the relentless drumming of the rain, each drop sounding like a tiny hammer blow on the pavement. Vincent felt a strange sense of calm settle over him, a grim acceptance mixed with that absurd, traitorous pride. Despite the deception, Leo had, in the end, been an exceptional student, the best he'd ever trained. And now, the lesson was complete. Thanks for listening to one very short story. If today's story hooked you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps us grow and keeps the suspense coming your way. Want to dive deeper? Check out the podcast description to learn more about the show and explore special offers from our sponsor. Until next time, keep dodging bullets and stay safe in the shadows.